That would help. Let me try that again. Hello, hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good evening. It's a whole nother world out there, you know, during the holidays. You've got shark, restaurant, hurdles, candy, highway, and a mustard seed. Interestingly enough, it did feel like a very brutal place out there right now. I was doing my deliveries tonight, and it did feel like shark-infested waters. Trying to get to the restaurants. Do have to say that there was incident when I had picked up an order. Some guy had text on his phone. Usually people are very professional in the restaurants. This one place that I picked up, he was texting on his phone even after he saw me coming into the restaurant and walking up to the counter. I had to wait for him to probably finish the last couple words or word and then hit send before he addressed me with the order. That looked like it had been sitting there a minute. I went ahead and picked up the order, not realizing where I was headed. Where I was headed was a very congested area. I did not know that it was going to be having areas blocked off. Anywho, the shark-infested waters, there was a line of probably about 20 police cars with their sirens on, very hurrying to their location. They ended up going up into a hospital parking lot, of which the last 5 cars coming in almost made a mess of things as they were going in there. Of course, as each of the cars went into the area, they did turn off their sirens. Not more than 5 minutes later did they all come out and come in the direction that I was headed, only to make a left into the peninsula or the Balboa area, that with all of their sirens on, the whole parade of cars coming out through there. I don't know what they thought they were doing going into the hospital for. I don't know. But I guess they had a plan, so however their plan worked out for them, I hope that it did. Anywho, shark-infested water. So I go and pick up this order at the restaurant. I've got it in the car, trying to get to the individual in communication, and this individual calls me a bitch as I'm telling him about all the hurdles that we're going through, trying to get through, trying to manage through. Wasn't very nice, but that's okay. I still delivered his food, and I still, you know, kept him updated on where I was in the process of trying to get there. And then we ended up being able to meet, and he was already at the location where we decided we were going to meet, which was like probably at least 2 miles away from his address. So it just seemed odd that he was able to get there way before I was able to get there in my, I don't know, folks. I don't know. But I kept it, you know, I was very sugar-coated because in my mind I'm thinking this guy probably had too much to drink. So I let him know, make sure you get some water tonight, okay? It's like I wasn't going to take the bitch comment personally. I just let him know I didn't think it was very nice. And granted, we were on the phone, the whole conversations, all of them were recorded. So there's that. But he was telling me you shouldn't have taken an order that you knew you couldn't get to. Well, sir, I'm not from the area, and I didn't know that I wouldn't be able to get to it because I didn't know it was blocked down here. But you must have known it was blocked when you made the order, because you mentioned that it was blocked the first conversation that we had when you were supposedly supposed to be at your house all the way down, all the way north from the location. So there's that. I don't know. It's either his way or the highway, I guess, but you just keep a little faith of a mustard seed, and you just keep on pushing. Whatever happens, happens. There was a girl who's, a lady who was there who let me in to make the left, and she said she was going to pick up her daughter. Her daughter was saying that she was scared down there. So, I don't know how that mother was going to go down in that area if it was all blocked off. The way that they had everything, they should have addressed the situation before it became a situation, if you want my opinion. Because, I mean, they have this holiday every single year, so they should know and plan it better that they're directing traffic in a way that's not going to cause a problem. I don't know who's on the planning committee on that one, but I mean, someone should have some forethought, right? Just saying. I don't know, folks. It just seems like sometimes people are just focusing on the wrong things when it comes to public safety. Just an opinion. Anywho, bottom of the deck. I just think it was funny how the cards came out and perfectly describing my situation that I had gone through tonight. We've got the moon here as the overall energy. Something's being illuminated. It is also a Cancer card. I learned that the moon actually is Cancer. And I also believe that the moon is a female energy. So it could be a female Cancer that we're dealing with. We've got a penguin. Someone's leaving the group. Someone's had enough. In case you're new to the channel, these are cards that I made and they're all in different stages. Some just have words, some have writing, some are researched, some are not. So this is a penguin that leaves the group. It's confusing for scientists because they don't really understand why a penguin all of a sudden just turns around and leaves the group. Maybe they just plain had enough. Maybe the way, you know, they're living life is just not working out for them anymore. In the penguin stance, I'm kind of wondering if it's kind of like cats. They will tend to leave their family if they're feeling not so great and they know that it's their time. They'll leave the group or they'll leave the family or the home in order to be able to go over Rainbow Bridge on their own terms and not distress the family, not even thinking about the fact that it probably distresses the family that they're not there and they don't know where the cat has gone. In this case, someone's walked away from the group. They're just not seeing eye to eye with the group and what they're doing at this point. That's the way the cookie crumbles. There's some kind of residue that's being left behind. Someone's just saying, well, I guess it is what it is. And I'm just going to go ahead and walk away from the situation or these people. And I'd rather go ahead and just find my sanctuary, my place of peace. That was just chaos tonight, folks. We've got the statue, the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of liberty and justice for all. That's ironic. Right? It's a gift, folks. We've got our shark coming out first off. With an open mouth. I didn't get it completed all the way because I didn't have all the markers I wanted to use and I was just tired and I was just, I don't know. I have to look this up to see how I have to better shade that in. But that's the shark we were talking about earlier in the morning. I mean, earlier about the shark and shark infested waters. Just baring all their teeth, and who knows, maybe they're just baring the teeth and they're not really up to anything. Maybe they're just encircling their prey and they're not really going to be doing anything about it. Just wanting to add hurdles to somebody's situation, making things a little bit more difficult for someone in general. But, you know, once you get to those hurdles, there's only a certain amount of hurdles that you're going to have to jump over. And then eventually you're going to get to the finish line of those hurdles. You're just being tested, right? Maybe someone's being tested on how they're going to make it through those hurdles. Are they going to stay true to who they are, or are they going to act out? Oh, look at that. Juggling emotions. We had 2 cards come out with the waterfall, which is just a very powerful water source, right? It's controlled chaos in this case. And perhaps that's what was going on here. They were just controlled chaos all night. Someone's juggling their emotions. Someone's juggling their strong emotions. Maybe they're juggling the fact that they can't get someone else to collapse into some kind of strong emotions where they're just going to fall really high from where they're at, falling from a high position. Maybe someone's going to fall from a high position and they're trying to juggle that fact. We've got the number 1 card, the beginning or the start of something. Someone wants to be first, could be an Aries. We've got our meow, our resting BITCH face. Someone looks a certain way, but they're not really that way. Maybe someone looks pretty intimidating, but they're really not. Maybe someone looks like they're in a bad mood, but they're really not. It's also my jealousy card. We've got the jumpers. Crickets and grasshoppers, they just jump where they're going to jump. They don't care who's watching or where they're going to land, right? They just go ahead and make that move and jump forward to their destination, even if it is off to the left a little bit. They just have the faith that they're going to land all right. It's also prosperity. You could be hearing crickets, meaning someone's not saying a word. I just wanted to be mindful of my battery usage because it was kind of low, but come to find out, you can't even find out what your battery is when you have the live going. We've got an empty nest here. Maybe someone's going to be flying the coop. Maybe they're going to have an empty nest. Maybe someone's nest is just empty, or someone is just completely just hollow and empty inside. Who's to say? Who's to say? Maybe that's why they are acting like a shark. Maybe that's why they act the way they act. I don't know. But if that's the case, that seems like a personal problem that they probably need to get some help for. Not my business. We've got a potato. What's the root of the matter? I've got eyes on you. We've got rose-colored lenses. Elephant in the room. Perhaps that's the elephant in the room, that someone consistently sees things with rose-colored lenses. Someone is consistently, regardless of whatever the test is, sees things in a positive light. That's what the root is. Or maybe the root is actually that this person is just empty inside. And the elephant in the room is the fact that this person is always a positive person, positive light. They have manners, they're respectful, they're caring, they're kind, they're loving, and regardless of what kind of test there is. But remind you, biblically speaking, even Jesus turned over tables when it was necessary. Doesn't matter what kind of emotions or what kind of overload or whatever it is that they can throw at someone trying to juggle these emotions. The elephant will always stay true to who the elephant is. We've got the anistic cut. This is going to be changed to Rachel. That's its official name. And yes, I can use it because it's not a copywritten title. But everybody wants it. When Rachel from Friends got her hair cut that certain way on the show, everybody was like, oh, I want my hair just like that. Everybody wants it. So maybe everybody wants to have this positive outlook. Maybe everyone wants to have this rose-colored lens kind of attitude about things. You know, if that's something that everybody wants, then everybody can have it. It's available and open to everybody. Everyone can be happy. Everyone can have the perception of rose-colored lenses. If you want it, then you work towards it. You practice it. You choose it. I mean, that's the ultimate hurdle, is the fact you choose it. You know, sometimes I think that being negative or whatnot, or dealing with drama or chaotic situations is almost like some kind of addiction for some people, or having a shark mentality, or being a narcissist, or, I mean, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a professional, I'm not licensed, and I'm not, you know, licensed to diagnose anybody, but someone who is on the spectrum of things as far as being negative or sad or whatever. I used to be, and we all know, I've said it a million times, I used to be depressed almost every single day of my life. For whatever reason, it usually had to do with the people I would come across as far as dating was concerned. The ones that would approach me and want to date me, and then they would just not be nice people. And so I would be sad because it didn't work out. Um, so I chose not to be sad and depressed anymore. It was a choice that I made. When my mom passed away, she was sad and depressed. And I thought, I could spend the rest of my life being sad and depressed, or I could change it now and choose to be different now. And that's what I did. I chose it. Um, it's self-talk. You got to tell yourself that you want to be, that you don't have to be sad. It's a whole mind process thing. You've got to change it. You've got to just talk yourself through it. It takes practice. You didn't create that way overnight. So again, I think I'm in the right to say that sometimes I think the depressive kind of outlook, since I did live it, could be an addictive kind of personality trait or situation if we allow it to be. Some people are afraid to be happy because they're afraid, when's the other shoe going to drop? Sometimes people are afraid to be happy because they're so used to being sad and they don't know what it's going to be like to be happy. And then something horrible happens, or even not so horrible. Maybe it's even minor. And they're like, see, I told you. I told you I shouldn't be happy. Now I'm just really crushed because of what it was that I experienced. It's making me sad. Well, if you take the responsibility about life and just understand that sometimes things that make you unhappy is going to happen, and you respect the feelings and you work through those feelings as they happen and as you go along, and you take responsibility for processing those feelings, then you can go ahead and make it on to the next occasion where you are happy. Even kids have 6 months of being really, really good listeners, and then there'll be 6 months of kind of trying the waters and enforcing those boundaries. I mean, we can look at it in the same regard. If we want to, it's a choice, right? We've got cheese here with the Swiss cheese. Yeah, nobody's happy all the time. No one is ever happy all the time. Is it an act when people are happy? Maybe it is an act sometimes, but eventually that act becomes permanent. Your brain doesn't know any different. If you smile when you're sad, then your brain thinks you're happy, and then it produces the chemicals that makes your brain happy. So fake smile if you have to. Apparently our muscles tell our brains what to think. We've got karma coming in. Someone's got karma to deal with. Someone wanted to smile, and then they wanted to cry later. You guys, and when you do a fake happy smile or whatever, please work through your real feelings. Journal them, talk to someone about them, process them, respect them, because they're there for a reason. They're there to tell you something. They're there to help you learn. They're there to help you evolve. But maybe instead of getting a drink of, a beverage, or, acting out or calling someone a bitch like what happened to me earlier, then maybe you could just fake smile. I don't know. The guy smiled at the car when he was getting his food, I think. So, I mean, let's just make light of the situation and make sure you get hydrated because you've been drinking tonight. You know what I mean? You want to be your best self. Got our karma. Just say prayers for people when they're upset like that. That's all you can do, is just wish them well and hope that they make it through. We've got the pit bull. Pit bulls are who they are based on who their parents are, right? How they're trained to be. And this could go with that same with the person that we were just talking about. Or anybody else who you may come across. They're that way because that's how they grew up to be. There's that old adage where, oh, kids will just be kids. Well, yeah, yes, kids will just be kids. And yes, we should allow kids just to be kids. But when they do something that's just not the best idea, then you have to educate them on why it's not the best idea. For example, there was people complaining about people pouring soap suds into the fountain at a shopping center. Well, that was a creative idea, but it's like you could actually ruin the motor of the fountain by putting soap into it, right? I mean, yeah, it's a kid thing to do. Maybe it was a little impulsive. Maybe they planned it for weeks. Who knows? And it was just a kid mentality. But when someone says, well, kids just will be kids, just let them be kids, it's not that big of a deal. Well, And I'm repeating myself and I apologize. But if that kid is going to grow up thinking that he's not going to get educated on his choices ever, because kids are just going to be kids, then who's to say what that's going to progress into? And again, soap can probably hurt the motor of the fountain, and then now the fountain doesn't work, and now it's going to cost hundreds or if not thousands of dollars, because those quotes and all, to fix the fountain, and then now it's taxpayers' money that's helping to pay for that fountain to be fixed, and now everybody has to pay for it because someone didn't want to talk to their kids or educate their kids on, yeah, kids will be kids, but we can make better choices. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the saying about the pit bull. If a pit bull is trained to be vicious, then they're going to be vicious. If they're not trained to be vicious, then they're probably not going to be vicious. They'll just be protective. There's a huge difference. What are you teaching? What are you teaching yourself with your thoughts, right? We've got a delivery. It's all in the way that you deliver a message. That's the root of the issue. We've got dodgeball. Someone dodge something, maybe by being kind. We've got a lobster here. An expensive situation, maybe. Balding. Putting someone in a vulnerable position. Someone protected themselves by being kind and they dodged a situation that would have put them in a vulnerable situation. A vulnerable, maybe an uncomfortable, maybe an exposed position. Now we have a visitor coming. An unwelcomed visitor, maybe? A bell. Sounds like a bell. Looks like a bell. It is a bell. We got a pomegranate happening here. This is about the Torah, unity and family, fate, growth, a blessed future. Bless you. Life and resurrection. There's 613 seeds in a pomegranate. Apparently all pomegranates have 613 seeds. And there's also 613 books in the Torah. 248 are do's and 365 of those are don'ts. The do's correlate to your body, and then the don'ts correlate to every single day of the Bible, of the year. Sorry. We've got a bag, an empty bag here. Someone's going to deliver an empty bag. Maybe someone's delivering an empty bag with their attempts of what they were trying to do to someone to make someone vulnerable, whatever those tests and hurdles were. We have to remember that shark is being illuminated at this point. We've got the Russian roulette card, someone making a huge, taking a huge gamble, something that can completely change somebody's life. I mean, who wants to mess around with that? Don't take gambles. Don't make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. Someone took an empty gamble here. I guess it all depends on how you react to a situation that would have created that situation. Making a deal with the devil. Pill. Which pill do you see? The red pill, the blue pill? Are you taking medication? We've got the female seahorse. Female seahorse gives all that they have to the male seahorse so the male can give birth to all of the babies. We've got a top hat here. Special occasion. This came out also earlier. Interesting when the cards repeat themselves. The hermit crab also came out earlier. It's also a Cancer card with the plastic. A fake scenario, a fake home. Saith. Words of authority. An empty bag. Maybe somebody wanted somebody to say something in a certain way. If we're going to go back to my situation, thinking that someone was going to say something in a certain way. Maybe they wanted someone to act out of character. Maybe they're trying to cover the way someone was speaking to someone or about someone. It was the delivery of the bag, the delivery of the food. Trying to create some kind of web. Some kind of trap. Trapping the unicorn. Someone having road rage. Maybe they wanted someone to have road rage in order to make it look like some kind of certain situation. They wanted someone to look like they were just out of control, considering success. The female had success. Map. Planning the trip, planning the way out, planning the route. There was success in getting the food dropped off successfully. Dealing with the road rage kind of situation. The center of the read is this lobster card. Oh, you are my other person. Vulnerability. If they don't have their shell, it's expensive. Actually, it's a ground crawler. It eats all the things that are just left in the gravel as well. It's a bottom feeder is what I'm trying to say. So maybe this bottom feeder was making a deal with the devil in regards to this unicorn. We have the shark up there in the corner with the map here in the corner. They were obviously trying to plan their route. They were circling and trying to, what's it called when you come into when you surround your fish? I don't know. I forget what it's called at this point. We've got the crickets with the jumpers and the hermit going home. Maybe someone just sprang into action and just went ahead and just went home in order to regroup or focus on whatever it was that was being said and the trap that was being laid and the hurdles that were come across and everything else, when they are only out just trying to get in pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. I don't know if we really have the right to pursue that. I mean, I guess we can pursue it, but we've got to deal with the hurdles and the chaos and all the tests and everything else that comes along with that. Right? Our outcome cards is the broom. Someone's trying to clean up a situation. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. With the rabbit, maybe someone's trying to make something seem like it wasn't what it was. They're just trying to cause confusion with all of these people who are around. It's like, does anybody know why they're trying to cause confusion here? Does anybody know? Does anyone know where the rabbit went? Everyone's confused because nobody knows. It's very draining for everybody. It's very annoying for everybody who's involved who has no idea what it is that they're trying to do and why they're trying to confuse. I bet you all of those cars that went on by that flew right into the hospital parking lot, they were probably wondering, why are we doing this? Why are we at the hospital? Perhaps somebody's under the influence of some kind of spirits of the entity kind. They call it spirits for a reason. Spirits were down there causing havoc on everyone. On everyone that was there. And it's just unfortunate. All I can say is I'm glad the calls were recorded. Someone's uninspired. resilience, secrets, gossip, illusions. I didn't notice the cards were different colors. Someone's obviously talking about gossip that isn't even true. And I guess someone has a secret resilience that they didn't even understand or realize that someone was going to have. Maybe someone's uninspired by the fact that it didn't pan out the way someone had originally said it was going to pan out, and the original things that the person was saying about somebody, it didn't pan out the way that they thought it was. Divination, the letter H, first, middle, or last, or a word that starts with H. Or an H word. We've got cocoon upside down. Someone is coming out of the cocoon. Maybe they've evolved to that next level where they're a butterfly now. Maybe they're refusing to remain in a cocoon. We've got manifesting here. Maybe they're manifesting something else. It's out of the bag. Whoever had this word of authority here to set this little web of lies up, or this little web trap up. Surprised we didn't have the egg come out. Okay. Hold on. We've got tech here, so I have a feeling those calls will probably be deleted. We've got coffee upside down, probably deleted before morning time. Oh, look, we've got egg. Egg on their face. Like I was saying, I'm surprised the egg card wasn't here, and there it was. Change, nothing, it's not changing. Someone who thought they were real suave about a situation to cause someone unrest with the lotus flower, try to take someone's peace. Falconry, the falconry is about birds using, they're using birds in war. So who's to say with maybe their helicopters, they were using the helicopters. And then we've got the feather, birds of a feather flock together, spiritual war here going on. We've got this card blank, we've got work here and value. Someone doesn't value their work if they're using it for other means than what it was made for. Whatever they're there for, and they're not using their job for their job, and they're using it for their own benefit, there's a problem there. Right? With that being said, guys, I hope you make it a great day. Hope you enjoyed your holiday. And tomorrow things hopefully will just get better. Take care. Oopsie.